Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Quiet as Kept podcast. I am your host, Shawnti Refuge, an award winning master certified mental health coach, author of the best selling book, Quiet as Kept, and journaling advocate. This podcast is where we unpack the conversations we've been told to keep quiet, especially in the Black community. Each episode dives into topics like trauma, self love, healing, and mental wellness with honesty and heart. Grab your journal and get ready because what we keep quiet is often what we need to release. So let's get into it. All right. There are people who owe you an apology. These are people who hurt you and will never, ever say they're sorry. And it's not because they don't know they hurt you, because it's because they refuse to acknowledge it. They'll rewrite the story, make you the villain. They'll say whatever they need to say to avoid accountability. And someone even flip it on you and say that you were the problem. And you have been waiting for the day they call, send that text if you didn't block them, or have a change of heart. And deep down, you already know they are not coming. And that silence can sometimes be loud. It can eat at your spirit. It can make you question if your pain even mattered. Let me be the one to tell you if nobody else did. Yes, it mattered. I mean, I have an apology that I never got. There was someone in my life, and I won't name any names, who deeply betrayed my trust. And I spent months trying to keep the peace, trying to be the bigger person. Oh my God, I hate that term. I used to always say, yes, I'm going to be the bigger person. Yes, I'm going to be the bigger person. But shit, that was costing me, you know, trying to be the bigger person, waiting for them to show up with some remorse. And guess what? They ain't do. In fact, they doubled down, honey. And the longer I waited for their apology, the more power they had over me. And I realized that I was tethering my peace to their decision to own up. So I did something real radical. I forgave them without their participation. And it wasn't to let them off the hook, but it was to set myself free. Because guess what? If you're sitting here holding on to grudges because somebody owes you an apology, you're not hurting them, you're hurting yourself. And how I did that was I wrote them a letter in my journal, not to send it, but just to say everything that I never got to say. And then I, closed it and I chose myself. And that was the beginning of my healing. According to trauma expert Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, unresolved emotional pain, especially when it's invalidated, it gets stored in the body. And it looks like tension, anxiety, and even illness. So when we don't receive acknowledgement or accountability for someone who harmed us, our brains loop. We keep replaying it, trying to solve it or make it make sense. And what this is called is cognitive dissonance. That's the brain trying to make peace with an experience that didn't end how it should have. But healing isn't about waiting for them to fix it. It's about choosing to stop giving them control over your peace. So here are your journal prompts for today. I just yawned. Sorry, y'all. It's Monday and it's raining and I'm sleepy. But I got to stay woke because I have my Mothering in the Dark session in almost an hour. So, yeah, we got to keep it pushing. So, your first journal prompt is, who are you still waiting to hear I'm sorry from? And what would you want them to acknowledge? Number 2, what would healing look like if the apology never came? 3, write a letter. And you don't have to send that letter. I just need you to write it to get it out of your head and onto some paper. To the person who hurt you. Say what you need to say for your own peace. All right, so now is our segment of Journal Bay Q&A. And you know what? I think I'm going to take this one and start doing it live on my social media platforms. So if you aren't subscribed to my Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, then you're going to be missing out. So this is what here's the question for today. It is, how do I forgive someone who isn't even sorry? Baby, you're going to run across somebody who has done you something and they ain't going to ever apologize. They know they owe you an apology. They know what they did. They know what they said. And they're not going to apologize to you because of various reasons, including stubbornness, pride, not wanting to hold themselves accountable, whatever it is. But guess what? That's one of the hardest parts of the healing journey. I just yawned again, y'all. Sorry. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget, and it doesn't mean that they get away with it. So it's all about reframing your thought process. Forgiveness is about saying, I refuse to let this pain keep bleeding into my present. So you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for your nervous system, your sleep, your joy. And how you can start is by naming what hurt you, acknowledging what that impact was, and then deciding that they don't get to rent space in your spirit anymore. That's your responsibility, not theirs, even if the apology never comes. Because sometimes, to be honest, people do apologize for whatever they did, but you still holding a grudge. And then that becomes a you problem and not a them problem. All right. So that is a wrap on episode 36 of the Quiet is Kept podcast. And if you're still holding your breath, waiting on an apology, baby, just give yourself permission to exhale. Because they may never come. But your healing still can. It's never too late to heal. I don't care if somebody owe you an apology from yesterday, last week, 6 months ago, 20 years ago. You could still choose to heal today. So for my guided journaling tools to support this kind of deep and necessary work, just go over to my website, ShawntiRefuge.com. And my guided journals are built for moments like this, when you're ready to stop waiting and start releasing. Because time waits for no one. Life is too short. It's time for you to start releasing that. And if this touched you, I want you to tag me or share it with someone who is still holding on to silence. You don't need their story to be free. I'm sorry. You don't need their sorry to be free. My eyes are crossing, Lord. I'm tired. Until next time, protect your peace and stay grounded in your truth.